Doom. Probably one of the most iconic and well-known games of the last 20 years. To this day, I still know how to do this level with the back of my hand. Like, I still know this level like the back of my hand. I still know where all the enemy placements are. I can tell you that there are 3 zombie men and 2 imps behind this door. And I know exactly where they're located. Back in 1996, this was actually my first real view into Doom. But this doesn't look like how you would remember it, doesn't it? You remember a pistol, not an assault rifle. You don't remember the UI looking like this. Welcome to the world of Doom modding, where, as a YouTuber once put it, the farther down you go down this rabbit hole, nothing seems to make sense, and everyone seems to be speaking a language you don't seem to quite understand. I'm here to be more of a translator for that. And while I'm just playing through this level, our goal today is going to get you to be part of this community and actually working out to being able to play mods, custom maps, and have proficiency in doing so, which surprisingly is easy. And I know when someone from the Doom community says something easy, they usually have a programming background, coding background, or something else. Not me. And we're going to show you why this is easy and why within the last 4 years this was actually made quite easily. So let's go ahead and just walk you through what this is. Obviously, these are new textures. This is the Doom High Texture Pack, running Brutal Doom, running Project Brutality, version 3.0. And the map pack we're using is just the base TNT WAD. So let's go ahead and find out what's running under the hood here. Now, when you first start off, your game isn't going to nearly look as good. In fact, when you first start off, your game might actually look more like this. And that's fine. As you can see, it sounds a little bit different. You know, for some reason you can move the gun with your mouse. This is using a different engine. This is using PR Boom Plus. So we want to get from point A to point B. How are we going to do that? Well, let's go ahead and get out of here and I will show you. I'm also getting really lucky with my shots. So, yeah. PR Boom is how I speedrun this level. Anyway, so what's running under the hood here? Well, as you just plainly saw, I'm using what's called a launcher. ZDoom Launcher, to be in fact. As a matter of fact. So, how do we use ZDoom Launcher? Great question. So, the first thing you're going to need are any one of the original Doom games. Those can be located on Steam, good old games, or perhaps maybe a friend. I can't recommend the illegitimate reasons. I can't recommend any of the illegitimate reasons to do this. But what I can recommend is, you know, it's not very cheap. The game, like, having the full Doom collection is going to be less than $10. So let's go ahead and open our browser of choice. And what we're going to do first is, let me just go ahead and look for Doom. And what you want to do is you want the Ultimate Doom, because that will come with 4 episodes. And look, Ultimate Doom. It's on Steam. Let's try and find Doom 2. Let's just go ahead and make that bigger for you guys. It's $5. Or hey, look, Doom Classic Complete, $14.99 on Steam. What a deal! I cannot not recommend this. Once you download and install the game, it is going to go into a certain program file, which I'll get into later. Until then, let's go ahead and get into the meat of the issue. So, we're going to need the launcher. Well, let's go ahead and look up that launcher. So, the launcher I use is called ZDoom Launcher. And you can easily find this stuff through Google. In fact, some people have already done some tutorials, but I'm doing something a little bit more in depth. And from this website right here, the ZDoom Wiki, you can find that Q's version of ZDoom is right here. And boom, you will have the most up-to-date version of ZDoom Launcher. Now, there is a wide range of source ports that are available, but if you are starting out, I do recommend GZDoom. And that's actually going to come from the ZDoom.org website. Keep in mind, ZDoom is also a very good choice, but it's not very stable anymore, and it's not very well supported anymore, as they discontinued this project, and it does look like they haven't continued this project either. You want GZDoom. This runs OpenGL, which is what most modern accelerated hardware is, which you don't need to know. All you know is if you own a modern machine that was made in the last 10 years, you have OpenGL and you have accelerated hardware. So you want to get the Windows either 64-bit or Windows 32-bit. And this is if you're running Windows. These two links are for Windows 7 and greater. This link is for Windows Vista and earlier. Or, no, I'm sorry, it's for Windows Vista and earlier, I believe. Let's just go ahead. Okay, never mind. You can also get to the ZDL or the ZDoom Launcher page from here as well. Which, for some reason, I don't know why it opened like that. There we go. Okay, so we have our source port, we have our launcher. What do we do from here? And we have our iWADs, the Doom Complete. There's also a second set of iWADs you can do, which is called Freedoom. And Freedoom is actually located right here. It runs off the Doom engine, their own set of iWADs. The point of Freedoom is not to play Freedoom itself, but to mod the ever-living crud out of it to get custom enemies, weapons, map packs, without ever having to actually pay for Doom. This is a good alternative if you're on a tight budget, and $15 just seems a little too pricey. That being said, let's go ahead and find out what's going on here and how do we get to this point. So, on my system, now keep in mind, if you're running modern hardware, that's not that's very, performance oriented. Like, I'm running the Ryzen 7 1800X chipset with a Asus 1080 Ti graphics card. And you might be like, Eric, why are you showing off? Why are you, flexing your muscles here? Actually, this is a deterrent. Because I used to have GZDoom running off of my mechanical hard drive. That's my backup drive. Well, that's not the case. For Doom, build engine, gold source games, which are kind of older games, like anything that was released in the early 2000s and earlier, they're going to use different caching tricks, as we didn't have RAM sizes as big as 64 gigabytes. We might have had a gig of RAM at most. So when you're talking about systems that are a bit older, companies had to do a lot of different tricks to get those things running and running properly. So that being said, when you're running an older game like GZDoom, like when you're running an older game like The Ultimate Doom, Half-Life, Red Faction, the list can go on, you're actually going to get micro stutters. What I recommend is installing Doom to the main desktop here, or to your program files, which if you're here, you probably already know how to get to your program files. Just go to this PC, local disk, and then you just, what I've done is I made a folder called Doom Stuff. Now, my programs folder, again, is on a different drive, because this is only a this is a 250 gigabyte SSD that I have, and my mechanical hard drive is a 6 terabyte Western Digital Blue. So all of my games go there. So let's go ahead, go back to this PC, and you're going to see that I have a Games and Stuff drive, and then you see that I have Doom Stuff. That I have lots of folders. Don't get too caught up in this. We're actually, for the purpose of this video, I am going to go ahead and walk through how to make a Doom drive, so to speak. So just kind of follow through. So we have our Doom launcher, we have our iWads, we have everything. How do we get everything to start? Okay. Now that I have all the explanations to where to find everything, I am finally going to get in to how to actually get everything up and running. Granted, there's a lot of explanation, which makes it sound complicated, but this really isn't. So, what we're going to do, very first thing we're going to do, and I would recommend doing this before downloading literally anything, is going into your PC, going to local disk, going to program files, right clicking, make new, and we're going to make a Doom Stuff folder. Now this is going to be very well organized. This is going to be where you find everything literally related to Doom. You're pretty much designing a program directory at this point, which again, big words, very easy to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a folder, and we're going to label it source ports. We're going to open up source ports, and then we're going to go back to our browser here, and the first thing we're going to download is going to be the ZDoom Launcher. Now, when you download ZDoom Launcher, it's going to come to you in a zip. So all you have to do is just undo the zip. We're going to go to this PC. We're going to go to local disk. We're going to go to program files. And then we're going to go to Doom Stuff folder. I already have a Doom Stuff thing here. Don't pay attention to that. In fact, that's actually really outdated. So let's go ahead and just delete that. And we're going to go to Doom Stuff. And then from here, we're actually going to create another new folder, and we're going to label this Launcher. Then we're going to go to the Launcher folder and then hit Save. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and save it to the VTAM folder. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. Now, in most browsers today, you will see that they do show your download at the bottom, which you can then open. I suggest, using this is Brave, but I suggest using Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox. If you're already here, I assume you already have some of these because they're very widely used. But now, when we go to our temporary download files, we now have the ZDL 3.22 stable zip. So we're going to double click that. And as you can see, there are some folders here. But does it look like there's a ZDL folder? So we're going to go back to our source ports folder. We're going to go to Launcher, and we're going to hit New, Folder, and then ZDoom Launcher. And it's just as simple as dragging and dropping. And then, bam! We now have our ZDoom Launcher directory. Excellent. But now we need some source ports. A source port is how we play Doom on modern systems. So, what are we going to do? We're going to exit out of this window. And then we are going to go to the ZDoom.org downloads page right here. And we're going to click on the operating system that best fits what you have. And this is going to be, for me, Windows 64-bit. This is Windows 7 or earlier. Windows 7 or later. And it's for the 64-bit. Now, we're going to go ahead and once again save it to our downloads folder. So right here. And then, as you can see, that already downloaded. So, whoops. So let's go ahead and open that. And as you can see, there is the GZDoom bin zip, and there is everything. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into source ports. We're going to click folder, and we're going to name our source port after what we have. And this is the GZDoom source port. And then, once again, just open the GZDoom folder. Highlight everything in your zip file, and then just drag and drop. And then, boom. Now, here comes the tricky part. At this time, the Ultimate Doom Collection has been downloaded from Steam into our library. So what the ZDoom Launcher is going to ask is where to find something called the IWADS. An IWAD is pretty much just a fancy term for the original Doom games, or Doom or ID Tech 1 engine games, which would be like Hexen, Hederic. Those two games also run on what's called the Doom engine. So, what I do to make my life easy is I also run a folder that's called IWADS. From here, we're going to minimize all of our download screens. And then we're going to go to where this would be. Now for me, I've had my IWADS for years, so they're not going to be in the same place for me as it would for you. However, I'm going to show you where this is going to come up. So where you would have Steam is where you would find it. So we're going to go back to this PC. we're going to select the C drive, go to Program Files, x86, and then we're going to scroll down, and we have Steam. We're going to open the Steam folder, and then we're going to look for a folder called either Apps or, there we go, Steam Apps. Then we're going to select Common. Now, this is empty because everything I have for Steam is actually going to show up somewhere else. So, for me, all of my Steam games download to here. And it's under the Steam library. So we just open that. We have Steam Apps, and then we have Common. And then all you're going to do is look for where Doom is. Which, hey, look, there's Doom. Oh, but that's the 2016 version of Doom. That's alright. There's another thing on Steam you could download called the Doom 3 BFG Edition, which also includes iWADs. Just go to here. And somewhere within this folder is going to be your iWAD. However, I don't recommend this. When you're in Common, just look for the Doom Collection or Doom or Final Doom or Doom 2. It should be there. I think for all intents and purposes, let's just go ahead and check this. And we're going to go to Base. We're going to go to, let's see here, I think WADS. And hey, look. Doom, Doom 2, and Nerve. Nerve, I think, was the master levels or something. I don't know what Nerve is. And then what you would do from here is go back to Program Files, and we're going to go to Doom Stuff. We're going to go to iWADS this time. And we're just going to move. And this time we're actually going to copy and paste. This creates a backup. This is, what, in my opinion, a more ideal route so that you always have the original iWADs in a secure location in the event of maybe a file folder crash or a complete hard drive wipe. If you run your games from a separate hard drive, then this preserves them. Also, if you have it with Steam, you can always re-download. So, creating a copy is going to be, in my opinion, a lot better. So now we have our iWADs in place. And next thing we need to do is go back to our launcher, go to ZDoom Launcher, and now we're actually going to say create shortcut. And we're going to say yes, place it on the desktop. And now we have our ZDoom Launcher on our desktop. So let's go ahead and open it. Yes. First time running, it's going to be a little wonky. So just understand, it's nothing. It's not a big deal. Now, when you're first starting, you will see this. And what the system is going to ask you, and what we're going to do is just remove everything here, because this is my setup. This is what your screen is going to look like when you first open it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to need to tell the launcher where our source ports are and where our iWADs are. Okay, this can get a little tricky, but the one time you do this, you will never need to do this again. So one by one, we're going to click on Add for the iWADs, Add iWAD, File, we're going to click Browse, and then you will be sent here to this PC. So next thing you want to do is you want to go to Program Files, x86, then go to your Doom Stuff folder. We're going to go to Source Ports, and hey look, GZDoom. And then we're going to look, oh, I'm sorry, no, we're going to go to iWADS, and then one by one, add Doom. So we're going to call this Doom 1, and I'm going to say BFG, add. Then we're going to repeat this process. Now the launcher will remember where you found your iWAD. So boom. And then Doom 2, BFG. And then finally, I guess we'll add nerve. And I'm going to say nerve, question mark. Then go to browse and click OK. And we now have all of our iWADs added, which again, iWAD simply means that the game is loaded. That is one of the original games. Now we need to tell the ZDoom Launcher we have a source port, which is kind of the engine that the game is going to be running on. Oh wow, this is a 36-minute. This is going to be a 30-minute video. Okay. So we're going to go to GZDoom. So just to go back, we're going to click source ports, GZDoom, and then we're going to find the gzdoom.exe file. And then we have to name it. And we're just going to call this GZDoom, and I'm just going to say test. And then click OK. We are now set up to run Doom from GZDoom. So let's go ahead and launch. And there we go. Now I do use a system called borderless gaming, because whenever I full screen it doesn't go to the correct screen. So from here, whatever your preferred method of full screen is, or if you prefer running it windowed, that's fine too. But for me, I prefer running it like this. So now we are full screen with Doom. You can see that this is the ultimate Doom. This is Doom 1. And let's go ahead and go to first level and choose our difficulty. And as you can see, they've actually modified the controls so that you should automatically be very adept at using the system. So it automatically knows that you want mouse look and WASD. Going down this rabbit hole, I could go into a lot of different setups. I could go into flags, but this is just to get your foot in the door. Feel free to message me if you need help launching more complicated things, like if you only want the mouse to do, if you want like traditional mouse settings, which were just linear, because the original Doom you couldn't do this. Another thing you'll notice is that when you look around, you can look straight up and down, and the level doesn't stretch. In older games, this would stretch, but with OpenGL, it renders everything in true 3D, so the maps are no longer raycasted, but actual 3D. And now you have Doom running. Now, in the original Doom, we had something called infinite height, which means I could aim at this step right here and still hit those two guys. But not anymore with GZDoom. We now have to look up. And there we go. We now have this. But Eric, I hear you saying, I saw you playing with a really cool mod and a really cool visor and a really cool texture set. And right you would be. Now, there's an infantile amount of things that you can run. I'm not going to go into the installation of everything, but in this video I will show you how to run a I will show you how to install a texture pack, and I will show you how to install a WAD, and also how to install a mod. So let's go ahead and get right to that. Okay, so we now know that ZDoom Launcher can launch this. Next thing you are going to want to do is you are going to want to go back to your folder Explorer. We're going to go back to this PC. We're going to go to C drive. We are going, you know the drill at this point. Then we're going to go to the Doom Stuff folder. We're going to right click, and once again, we are going to create a new folder. We're going to label this one WADS Mods. Now this can be organized and customized any which number of ways. This is just my preferred method. If you saw what I actually used, you'd have a minor heart attack, so take everything with a slight grain of salt. That being said, the recommended setup I have here is going to be one folder for WADs and one folder for mods. So, to get a WAD going, we're going to actually go online. And we are going to go to one of two locations, moddb.com, which is the mod database, which you can then, wide variety of games are covered here, a wide variety of all sorts of different things are available, everything from Doom to Grand Theft Auto 5, but today we're focusing on Doom. To find Doom, all we're going to do is you're just going to click on Games, and then for most things you're either going to do one of two things, which is either going to be looking for Doom, which is this, or Doom 2, or Doom 2 Hell on Earth. So pretty much what I'm doing right now, there it is, there's Doom 2. So these are your two mod database directories for Doom mods, and there's so many different things you can run. I cannot stress this enough that it's literally infinite. It's like literally infinite. It's never ending. So I suggest just going to these two sites and playing around with them. The next thing we're going to look at is Doom World. That's the Doom World forums. So here's a good source for Doom WADs. But I don't like this site as much. These are the CACO awards. These highlight the top WADs of all time for the past few years. There is older than 2004. Let me go ahead here and go to doomworld.com. Okay, and then you could go to downloads, and then you could go to the ID Games database, which will have all sorts of WADs. Or you could go to the downloads beta, which will load eventually. There we go. And this will have all sorts of map packs, like Some of the most downloaded ones of all time is you have Platonia 2. This is a great WAD. TNT RE-Evilution. Doom 2 Reloaded. No End in Sight. Again, this is infinite. You know what I am going to do, though? I am going to get Scythe 2 because I actually am wanting to play this. I've actually heard some good things. There will be a little background telling you what the game is best played with. A little bit of a background of the mod, of the WAD. So, you've heard me saying the phrase WAD. Now, the difference between an iWAD and a WAD is that the iWAD is a game. The WAD is a map pack. And that's different from a mod. A mod alters the game somehow. A WAD just simply takes the original assets of Doom and converts it into custom maps, which might also have some custom textures. So, that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to look for the download. This will also tell you all the different episodes, how to play each map. Like this just gives you some background. So, what I like to do on these things is I'll just go Control F, download, and hey, look, a big button for download this file. And it even has its own zip. Perfect. So, let's go ahead and go back to our WADS mod folder that, of course, we minimized. And we're going to open up our WADS. Next thing that I like to do is for each individual WAD, I like making a folder because sometimes it is multiple files. Sometimes they have a music file, sometimes a .deh file, sometimes they'll have different things that require, that do require specific parameters being met so that the WAD can run optimally. So I do recommend making a folder for each time you download a map pack and each time you download a mod to keep everything kind of neat and tidy. So we're going to just call this Scythe 2 and hit enter, and then hit enter one more time. And hey, Scythe just finished downloading. And okay, so we did luck out. This case it's just scythe.wad and a txt file, which is just a company readme file. A lot of people put a lot of time, a lot of effort into these WADs, so you know, always kind of be mindful that like these people have a lot of pride in their work, even though all of this is free. So just, you know, kind of pay homage. So how do we load a WAD? Great question. So now we're going to minimize everything again. And there's two ways you could do this, I've discovered. The most common way is to just click add here. This will actually be external files. This is where your mods and your WADs get loaded to. So down here, there's a simple add button. We're actually going to go to our Doom stuff folder, and then we're going to go to WADS mods. We're going to click on WADS, Scythe 2, and hey look, Scythe 2. So let's go ahead and launch. Hey there. And I actually loaded that wrong. Now, one thing you should make sure of is that you read the WAD descriptions, because sometimes the WAD descriptions may be a bit maybe a bit more detailed. I just realized I was going to load this with Doom 1. Scythe 2 is a 32 map WAD, so the only Doom game that has 32 maps besides the final Doom games is going to be Doom 2. Doom 1 is broken into episodes, so WADs for that are going to be specifically labeled as Doom 1, and then other WADs are going to be specifically labeled as Doom 2. There's a clear distinction there, and that really needs to be made. Just typically read the README file, it will tell you which iWAD it is for. So we want to make sure that we have Doom 2 with Scythe, and then just hit the load button. And hey, now we actually have what it's supposed to look like. And then we're going to maximize. We're going to hit new game. And we're going to select no rest. Hold on. Was it Hell on Earth? Yeah, and then hey look, we're in. And now I'm playing Scythe 2. Now, something about the BFG I should note is that the BFG edition is that the reason why the BFG edition has such a distinction from the original Doom games is that the Red Cross actually attempted to sue id over their usage of the red crosses on the med packs. So you have now little pills on the med packs instead of the red cross, because they felt it inaccurately depicted how first aid is given, and that the Red Cross does not. It's a long story, and I don't want to get into the politics of it. And there you go. Now you might be wondering why I'm not using my pistol. The fist actually deals more damage, and I get to save ammo. There we go. If you guys want help, see, but like, there's the red pill. And yeah, that's pretty much it how to load a WAD. That needs a yellow key. So let's go ahead and get that. Now we need to find out where to go from here. And hey, would you look at that? I definitely recommend this WAD. But this is a more advanced WAD. I definitely, if you're having trouble like trying to find out what to download and what to play, I definitely recommend going on YouTube and just seeing best Doom WADs, and they'll genuinely point you in the right direction. Again, you can always message me like, hey, I want to download this WAD. Okay, well, are you good with XYZ? No? Get better. I definitely recommend beating the first two Doom games, just to give you a base idea of the mechanics, because as you're about to see, this game can get a bit crazy. So, once I go out here, I can just grab that, and ooh, finally. So let me see if I can't get this. I don't know if Scythe 2 goes crazy right off the bat, because Scythe 1 didn't. Oh yeah, it did. So we're going to grab this and just start some infighting. So that's some more advanced tactics. I'm not going to sit here and have fun with that. Now what I hear you saying is, Eric, you only loaded a map. Okay, I want mods. Glad you asked. So let's go ahead and get you a weapons mod. Hell yeah. The meat and potatoes of everything. Excellent. For this, I'm going to recommend starting out, and this is going to create a bunch of contention because in the Doom community you have two sides. You have the game needs to be played vanilla, and you're only good if you pistol start every level. You're just starting out. You're not watching this video here because you're some Doom god doing trials. You're here because you want to play Doom because it's either nostalgic, or it seems fun, or you're tired of modern game design. This is where I come in, because I am on the side of play the game the way you want. There's an infinite way of playing. The WAD makers will literally tell you how their WAD is intended to be played, which might come from a pistol start. If you don't know what a pistol start is, it just means using the cheat code ID Clev and then the current map number in order to restart the level each time. So, with that said, that often means that the game can just restart. And You just start with a pistol each time. That's for very advanced players. That's why I'm not going into too much depth. Sometimes WAD makers will say, hey, yeah, this is meant for continuous play. Other times, you'll get weapon packs that completely break the game or make the game more challenging. I'm going to show you one such mod that makes the game easier and challenging at the same time, but that's really dependent on the WAD. So the best starter mod that any person first playing Doom and doesn't want to play vanilla is going to be Brutal Doom. I can already hear so many Doomers being like, how dare you? Brutal Doom has caused such a controversy in the Doom community, I can't begin to explain how this whole widespread fear of this fucking mod has shaped the Doom community. To me, this is a natural evolution of Doom. It provides a decent challenge because they alter the enemies while also maintaining that the core Doom gameplay. It doesn't break the game entirely if your imps can walk on the ceiling. It doesn't break the game entirely if all the weapons now are projectiles rather than what's called hit scan. I could go on for hours. If you're new to Doom modding, if you're new to the custom world that is Doom, I recommend starting here. Brutal Doom. It's just going to be fun. There's a lot of blood. So let me show you how to install this. So what we're going to do is we're going to see that there's version 21A release candidate. We're actually going to go to Files. And look at that. Brutal Doom V21. We're going to select Download Now. And I normally click the link. And hey, look, it's downloading. And that's just because I was dumb. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And now Brutal Doom is downloaded. And hey, look, the Brutal Doom manual. This will tell you how to install, what to look out for. This will tell you the changelog from the previous updates. So keep this all in mind. Now we're going to go back to where we found Scythe, where we put Scythe 2, and we're going to go back to WADS mods. We're going to go to mods, we're going to right click, and we're going to say Brutal Doom, and I'm going to put V21 because there's multiple versions out there, and then we're going to open that folder, and once again, just a simple move over. Now, for me, I don't like playing Brutal Doom from the stock UI, so the next thing I totally recommend if you're going to get Brutal Doom, definitively, I think Brutal Doom works best with the Ultimate Doom Visor. I didn't think I spelled it right. Oh, no, hold on. Let's go to... So this is where the other databases come in. So we have Doom, and we have... Doom 2, so we're going to search. And... just going to keep scrolling. There's Doom 2. And when you look off related files, okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to mods, we're going to search mods, and we're going to type in Ultimate Doom Visor. Okay, if all else fails, just Google search it. And hey, look, Ultimate Doom Visor HUD. Doom Visor is one word, so that's where I messed up. So we're going to download this. And once again, I accidentally clicked the link because I got overzealous. And once that's done downloading, we're going to open it. I am going to go over how to actually install this, because this can look intimidating to a first-time user. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go back. Okay, so we're going to right-click here, go to File Explorer if you close the window with everything. Then we're going to go to this PC, C drive, first verse, same as the first. Go all the way down to the Doom stuff folder, go to WADS mods, then mods. And we're going to right click, create a new folder, and we're going to call that the UDV, Ultimate Doom Visor. We're going to open that, and we are going to, once again, move everything over. Now that we have this, I am going to teach you one thing that is a bit advanced. So, the very next thing that we are going to do is we are going to load both Brutal Doom and the Ultimate Doom Visor. So we're going to hit Add. Next, we're going to go to Doom Stuff, and we're going to go to WADS Mods, and we're going to go to Mods. We're going to go to Brutal Doom, we're going to select that, and just add. Simple fix. Now, this is where it gets tricky. We're going to go to WADS Mods, we're going to go to Mods, and we're going to the UDV. With the Ultimate Doom Visor, there is going to be a bit of what you're going to be introduced to here is what's called boot order. I know the technicalities of it. You don't really need to know. All you need to know is that the files need to be aligned in such a way that the system boots it in the correct order. Now, the person who created the Ultimate Doom Visor actually made a very, very comprehensive way of doing this. If you look at the file names, you have base, then A. Then you have B files, C files, and D files. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this. Now, the only thing you need to know about this is that you can't have both B files running at once. You have to have one or the other. Otherwise, everything else can be added. And we're going to select this. Now, this is where it looks tricky. So you want one A folder first, one B folder first, and then as many of the C and D folders as you like, but C folders need to be loaded first, D folders need to be loaded second. Next, we're going to hit Launch. As you can see, the UI changed again. And then we're going to go to here. And we're now back to being full screen. And when we hit New Game, we're given several options. I'm just going to go with the traditional rifle start. We're also going to go to Hell on Earth, Ultra Violence, or any difficulty you choose. For new players, I suggest Hurt Me Play. I'm Too Young to Die is way too easy, and the next difficulty up is just way too easy. Hurt Me Plenty and the other higher difficulties are perfectly acceptable. And as you can see, Brutal Doom enemies are a bit more aggressive, but we now actually have a better weapon. And you can now aim down the sights just as you would, but my reload isn't working. So let's figure out why that is. For Doom mods, they sometimes alter the controls and will have their own set of controls. To solve this issue, it's a simple fix. Go to Customize Controls, hit up once, and then you have Brutal Doom options. And Brutal Doom right there has R selected. We have flashlights, So just to make sure, and yeah, it has the HEV suit, mark, whatever. No, actually, I don't want G associated with that because I want G to toss a grenade. But what I will say is let's have that set to N for night vision goggles. So watch this. Oh, no goggles. They don't have enough armor. So we're gonna take our pistol out, shoot that, open that. And as you can see, just what I recommend doing is whenever you open up a new mod, is actually going through the controls and see what you have available. You'll actually be surprised. And yeah, as you can see, the enemies are far more aggressive because it starts off with some dude like right there. Yeah, that's kind of satisfying. Alright, so we're going to toss a grenade down there. And hey, look, now we're playing Doom the way that I do. Now, something I also like to note is that if you hit the plus or minus signs, you get the game to look a little differently. Smaller screen, larger screen. And I like playing like this because I get to see all my ammo, so I have the widest field of view, and I still get my custom weapons. And we just go back up. There should have been... okay. Should have spawned some enemies. And let's see if we can't beat this level. Now, something else is that most maps and most Doom maps are not made with jumping in mind, so keep that in mind. Again, consult the README files. And we died again. Oh well, I really wasn't paying attention. So yeah, this is my complete, comprehensive, hour-long guide on how to do everything step by step. I will have links in the description down below. Obligatory jerk-off moment, like, share, subscribe. You know, all that fun stuff. I hope you enjoy, and feel free to message me. I think if you have any questions, I'm always here to help. I'm always here to lend a helping hand. You all have a wonderful day, and thanks for coming by.